welcome to this session. It's a pleasure to have you with us today. This session is very important because it's about some of our top leaders in the 2020 edition of the PMO Global Awards. So today we have here with us two very special people. The first one is the host of this session. It's Dr. Ghaffar Imtiaz. He was invited to host this session because he is one of the most notable professionals in project management with great contributions, and his experience will help us today to keep a very interesting conversation. So thank you, Dr. Ghaffar, for accepting our invitation. And the second one is the star of the session, right? It's Athamneh. He's one of the top 16 PMO leaders of the year. So this year we had a very hard, a very tough competition. We have our finalists, but Tahir is among this group of outstanding professionals that are leading PMOs around the world. Today, we expected to have one more of this PMO leaders. It was Hassan El Agous from Saudi Arabia. Unfortunately, he had an unexpected issue and he couldn't connect. He couldn't be with us. But anyway, I would like to thank him too, because I know that he was very engaged in the idea of participating in this session. So, of course, we're going to have much more opportunities in the near future. So again, welcome, Tahir. Welcome, Dr. Ghaffar. I would like to ask you to tell who are you, right? So tell us a little more about you. And Dr. Ghaffar, I would like to ask you to start. So tell us a little more who Dr. Ghaffar Imtiaz is.
Thank you, Americo. First of all, thank you very much for inviting me to host this session. I'm excited to be here. But certainly, PMO Global Alliance and Americo is contributing towards program and project management and PMO professionals, leading towards the support and designing of the PMOs globally. And myself is Ghaffar Imtiaz. By training, I'm an engineer. I have earned my PhD and MBA. I have earned credential from PMI program management professionals and project management professionals. My area of expertise is PMO, public-private partnership, lean construction, and I was involved in the delivery of mega complex dynamics program and projects such as airports, hospitals, urban transportations, PMOs, city infrastructure. So these are multi-million dollars projects globally. I was mostly involved in Southeast Asia, Malaysia, Singapore, and Saudi Arabia. These are my area of expertise. And a lot of work I has in the PMO. I am a regular speaker in PMI conferences in GCC. I am also sitting on the editorial board of the Lean Construction Journal. And maybe I can say start of the lean construction and PMO in Saudi Arabia or in Gulf countries. I may be the pioneer, I can say this thing, and to my introduction.
Very good. Excellent. And Tahir, let us know who you are.
Thank you very much, Americo, for the great introduction. Thank you very much for you and Dr. Ghaffar and the PMO Global Awards community for your great efforts. It is my honor, honestly, to be asked for such a great opportunity and such a great chance to learn from both of you. Both of you are very key legends in project management and PMOs. So I'm so pleased to be here. It is my really honor to be hosted in such a session. My name is Athamneh, and basically I'm an industrial engineer. I have almost 10 plus years of professional experience. My professional experience mostly in project management and PMOs. I had established a PMO from the scratch before 3 years ago in Tabuk Pharmaceuticals, and it was the first time to establish a PMO in Tabuk Pharmaceuticals and the pharmaceutical industry. And at that moment of time, we had around 200 plus running projects with a total budget of the project portfolios with a 17 million US dollars. So it was a very challenging job. And as everyone knows that PMOs after 3 years are always threatened to be shut down or terminated. But Alhamdulillah, yani, after 3 years today, our PMO is still expanding and expanding. Our PMO scope is still keep increasing, and this is a very great success to our PMO, Tabuk Pharmaceuticals. In general, I hold a couple of professional certificates regarding project management and, of course, the PMOCP, which, by the way, it helped me a lot developing our PMO and increasing the value of our PMOs by the service catalog methodology mentioned in the PMO valuing. This is about me, and I'm very happy to be here today.
Very good. So before starting with Dr. Ghaffar, let me introduce myself too, right? So very quickly, actually, I'm Americo Pinto. I'm the chair of the board of our PMO Global Alliance community. Actually, I'm also the founder of the community a few years ago. And I've been working as a consultant for the last 22 years, 23 years almost. Most of the time in the Americas and more recently in Europe. My focus in the last 12 years has been the PMO, right? So I'm working with that. I'm researching PMOs, writing books on PMOs, and especially meeting hundreds of PMO leaders around the world. And so I could say that that's my passion, right? And today, maybe it will be one more opportunity to share with you not only my ideas, but maybe something that I've been watching, right, in companies around the world. So again, thank you for all of you today. You are the stars of our show. So Dr. Ghaffar, now you have the word.
Thank you very much giving me platform. From my perspective, certainly, I'll say PMO is the backbone of successful delivery of the project management in any organization or the project. This project management office, either a project base or an organization can set up a project management office also. So I used to say to my most of the team when I was young that being an engineer, we always follow design or certain standard or guidelines, whether from Europe or British or Americans, that there should be certain standard to be used in the engineering design in order to fulfill the requirement of the building bylaws and all those sort of stuff. But unfortunately, the thing for the project management, recently there are a lot of momentum has been created, a lot of PMO trainings has been put in, PMI has put a lot of effort and effort to introduce project management in a structured way. So from my perspective, PMO is a backbone of an organization. And we also know different types of PMOs, the services they render to the organization or to the project is specific. My mostly experience is on project or program based, being in construction sector, and 2 organizations I have set up as a PMO into the organization. One is Ministry of Works, Malaysia, and one in Jeddah Municipality, Saudi Arabia. So today I will be maybe sharing myself and with the help of Tahir and Americo that a lot of stuff has been heard about services and type of the PMO, but very less awareness on the value creation or the value added by the PMO to the program or to the project or to the organization. As someone has said that this value lies in the eyes of a beholder. So from your guys' perspective, I'll share my experience also. What do you feel that what is the value a PMO can bring to the organization or to the project? Is it value for the money? Is it achieving the strategic objective for the organization or the project? Or is it delivery of the benefit? Or is it a combination of everything, or the happiness of the stakeholders, or the performance of the improvement of the organization, or the productivity improvement? So from first of all, I'll request Tahir, what from your experience you feel that as a setting up your PMO in your organization, pharmaceutical sector, what you feel that it add value to your organization, and what are the criterias or you have benchmarked those values to other sector or from the pharmaceutical sector globally?
Great. Thank you very much, Doctor. Actually, generally speaking about the value delivered by the PMO, I always have a first question to be asked before answering this question. Does the organization need a PMO at the first place? Sometimes maybe they don't need. So if they really don't need a PMO, whatever you will do later on, the value creation will be in a many stages. But for Tabuk Pharmaceuticals, for our PMO, actually it was established in 2018. Before that, Doctor, we had around 200 plus running projects. At the same time, these projects was divided into 3 phases because they are all somehow similar to each other. Almost the same plan, however, different project, different progress, different circumstances, and so on. But the uniqueness level between these projects are low somehow. So it was divided into 3 phases, and each phase, it was managed by a different department, by a different project manager. And this led to 2 main issues. First, I think that every department has their own interest, their own KPIs, their own agenda, their own style of work. So the priority was for managing this huge number of projects was up to every department KPIs and agenda rather than the whole organization need. And you can imagine this is on a phase level. So if this department has this interest, this priority, and once this phase is completed, the same project will be transferred to another project manager, another department, then a new priority will come up. So eventually, at the end of the day, the project will be completed much later than it is needed to be. This is one, unless of very special cases. Second, the whole organization need and strategy were not met in an efficient way through the projects because too many priorities, 2 different agendas. So the second issue was there is 2 different styles of project management. So this department will manage using Microsoft Project, another department will use Excel, the third one used PowerPoint. So eventually there is no proper archiving, there is no accountability or responsibility for the same project. You cannot ask someone about the date of this project, the progress of this project, or influence the project manager that this is has a high strategic importance, this particular project, and we need to expedite this one. You cannot do that. So we have a real hurt, real pain to asking for a PMO. So when we have established a PMO, the main idea was to establish a central unit which will directly manage the 200 projects. These kind of projects, you call it a new launch projects, which is developing a new drug, registering the new drug, then commercially launch it at the production for the new drug. So this was the initial step. And in the past 3 years from establishing the PMO, alhamdulillah, we had delivered too many success stories about the projects. Our projects, once it's finished, it will start generate money. So it's very easy to measure how much the value of dollars you have added to the organization. So in general, the last 3 years, I have never calculated this for the 3 years. I usually did it on an annual basis, but for the 3 years, we had be able to deliver much more than around maybe 20 million Saudi riyal to the organization, just because managing the projects properly, launch the product ahead of time, much better communication for all stakeholders, especially your project client, which is in our case is the sales and marketing teams. They are waiting your project to be concluded in order they will take the product and launch it. So if there is no alignment between the project management team and the client for this project, which is the sales and marketing, you will complete your project, your products will sit in the warehouses, there is no value to the organization.
Yes.
So it delivered too much value to the organization in the last 3 years, and I believe this is the opinion of the majority of the organization, maybe even to the senior management, because they had took the decision to keep the PMO, to expand the PMO, and to add more and more scopes to the PMO. Today I have a 3 years plan. I'm preparing for my PMO. I'm working on it with my team, and I'm planning to propose it for senior management to fine-tune it and align it, approve it, to start working on it starting in 2021. So we will present it to the management, inshallah, by end of this year, hopefully.
Very good.
So for your organization, what you have seen values is that you have put up a centralized project management office at the corporate level, maybe, and then the value you have perceived it through implementation is the standardization of the process and procedures and rolling out value for money, because you have said that you have saved certain amount of dollars, substantial amount of money.
Yeah.
So certainly, and you make the stakeholders happy, your marketing or your customers and users who are putting the product to the market. Now, from if I may request Americo the same question, that yes, you have been involved globally in multiple industries. Tahir touch base only on the pharmaceutical sector. So what you feel the PMO actually add value if somebody is putting portfolio program or project management office at the organization? But so in different sector, it should be same, or it varies from sector to sector or industry to industry?
Yeah, I think that's a very good question, especially because Tahir shared his perspective of how a PMO should create value, right? Because it's a perspective. And that's something important, because each company will have a different perspective. So what means value for me, it's not, it doesn't mean value for you, you know? And that's exactly what makes the PMO something a little complex in terms of phenomenon, because you can't copy, right? You can't say, okay, let me take the great experience that Tahir built in his company and I will use it in my company. Probably it will fail. So I based on the research that I've been leading the last years, I can say that what I believe that is value for a PMO, it's the way that your work is perceived by your stakeholders. So in other words, you have to understand what they expect from you, and based on this understanding, you will set up a PMO that makes sense for your organization and for your stakeholders. Because if you don't create this kind of perception of value, maybe, technically speaking, you are doing something really good, but it doesn't mean that someone will really care about what you are doing, right? So at the end of the day, someone needs to say how the PMO really works, and we're going to pay the bill, right? Because there is a cost behind it.
Yeah.
And if you can't generate this perception of value, probably your PMO will lose sponsorship and it will fail. So the point is, the expectations about what a PMO can deliver in terms of value will be different. Sometimes they may be a little more strategic for some companies. Sometimes they can be a little more operational for other companies. And it's not, there is not right or wrong, you know. Actually, I believe that the only thing that you have to do is exactly what the organization is expecting from you. If you are really good on doing that, if you are really aware about the expectations, and you can set up your PMO and be flexible to deliver these expectations, the benefits that people expect, the perception of value probably will be higher, and it will make your PMO much more successful. That's what I believe. It's a very, how can I say, flexible point of view.
Debatable point.
Yeah,
I totally agree with you, Americo, in this point. Totally, 100%.
Yeah. What do you think, Dr. Ghaffar? Does it make sense for you, this
Yeah,
idea
certainly.
of flexibility?
You both guys has defined very good value creation and value addition to the industry, certainly where you work. But from my exposure in construction sector, in civil infrastructure, basically hospital, airports, and all those, we certainly formed PMO at the project level, our program level, to achieve the strategic objective of that project or program. So why we are, so certainly we are look for the value for money at the strategic level.
Yeah.
Then looking also delivery of incremental benefit to the society, and then socio-economic benefits, which is include socio-economic benefits to the implementation of PMO. Certainly this performance improvement and happiness of the stakeholders comes as a byproduct. And once you have roll it out PMO properly through certain guidelines and methodologies and automations. So these are the byproducts to me. But the actual our objective is to achieve value for money and delivery of the benefits or outcome to the society or to the nature.
Yeah.
So we measure and benchmark for our project within construction industry with other countries and so on and so forth within the same sector, within the different countries. We measure that yes, this project, our program has completed, this one social benefits has been given, so and so forth.
Yeah. Let me make a comment about what you said, and actually it will be also a question to Tyre, because I fully agree that there are some functions or services that a PMO can provide that they have a very high potential to deliver value for the organization, especially some strategic aspects. For example, benefit management, right? Benefit realization management is something really important. But we also know that it's something still rare in most of the organizations. I'm saying that people don't know how to do that. They know that they want, but actually they don't know how to do. Or maybe what is really frequent is that they are not prepared to do that, because it's like the evolution of a human being. Sometimes you are just a kid, so you are not mature enough to do what you think that it's important for you, because the culture, the maturity, everything is still evolving. So it's not the time, because if you give the key of the Ferrari for a kid, the result will not be really good. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, there is a balance between what you need and want and what you can afford in terms of culture and maturity. That's what I feel. And so my question for Tahir is, Tahir, in your journey, have you ever seen a situation where you felt that, oh, this is something that we should do, that's something important for us, but we can't do it right now because the organization can't afford, with this new thing? Maybe because they don't see that it's important, maybe because we are not prepared to implement something like that. We have some steps, previous steps that should be performed. So let us know your experience with that, something that should be done, but we just couldn't do it because something prevent us to start.
Yeah, sure. I'm very surprised and very happy that you have bring that up, because in the just previous couple of minutes, I was mentioning that I'm preparing a 3 year plan for our PMO and coordinating with the PMO team to be presented to the senior management by end of this year, which is definitely what you have just shared, Americo. My vision was early this year, late 2019. I felt that we need much more about portfolio management rather than a project management. We need a benefits realization plan. We need that because we are talking about almost now we are, I'm not sure of the number, maybe 250 plus running project. So sometimes some project will consume and will limit the progress for another project. But who should I decide to compensate? This should be proceed, this should be on hold for now. This kind of decisions we need to take. In order to do so, we need a portfolio management plan, we need a benefits realization plan, and to make sure that all the projects eventually they will end up delivering a strategic value to the organization. Plus, all the projects will be managed in a way which the organization benefit will be number one, not the project benefit, because sometimes it will be a great story that you complete a project X ahead of time, below budget, and so on. However, it didn't add that much for the organization. And in order to do so, you have killed much more important project. So we need this. This is typically what you have just shared, Americo. But the problem was we didn't, we haven't been ready yet. So because we still making our PMO very solid, creating innovative solutions, because we are very limited. We are only 5 team members, which is including me, which is a very minimal number. Now we are in process of hiring additional one more. But at the end of the day, we are overloaded. So my plan was let's optimize what we usually do on a daily basis. Let's be more solid. Our structures, processes. We have created multiple innovative solutions to help us optimize our time and help us to manage the projects and help the project team outside the PMO as well. Then we will have another slot of time for every team member. We can start implementing the practices we need to do in order to do portfolio management, in order to implement a benefits realization plan. And that's what I'm working on it right now. Hopefully we will start, this is a journey. We cannot say, okay, tomorrow we will do portfolio management. Tomorrow we will have a benefits realization plan. It will not work that way, you know that. So it's a journey. And in order to do that incremental basis and with complying to our capacity, to the workload we have already, also to the organization direction going right now, absorbing the changes in the COVID-19 projects. So we are creating a plan for the 3 years. Our vision of 3 years, we will master that, inshallah. We will start delivering incremental value gradually through 2021, hopefully.
Very good, very good.
Excellent. I totally agree because from my perspective, PMO is helping management, senior management, and the board in decision making and realization of a strategic vision. Because PMO hold back a lot of data nowadays with the automation. If we diversify from traditional PMO through to automation, big data and IoT kind of thing, these will help us in decision making to the senior management, because the data and the information help us in easy decision making. And like you have shared, Tahir, on resource management, portfolio or program or project level, if it is sitting at the corporate level, you can easily earmark which resources, because of a scarcity of the resources, which project or program need to move ahead and allocation of the resources. Based on this, let me ask you touch base on pandemic, which is a heated issue nowadays globally. So it has changed our natural life forever, I can see. So what do you think our traditional PMO will be shifting? Traditional, when I'm saying traditional, because we have started with brick and mortar kind of thing in project or program management of PMOs, that we have a very specified, standardized documents, process, procedures, and have to fill up the form. People are sometimes saying these are administrative center and not adding value, and so on and so forth. So if in this pandemic, everything going to be e-based automation, and so what PMO you perceive going to be have a changing from today we have for the future of the PMO, or you can say tomorrow, what will be the PMO of the tomorrow, looking current situation, because everybody is working remotely, everybody is having a lean concept in the process and procedures, also having a maybe lean organization, some of the setups. So what PMO will be in your mind or Americo mind have as we move forward post-pandemic?
Yeah, actually, I'm totally convinced with the PMO value ring methodology concepts and what Americo have shared. Definitely, it will be different between PMOs. How it will be transferred after the COVID-19, it will not be exactly the same for all the PMOs. Every organization has their own needs, their own structure, their own maturity, and maybe their own needs to change as well. Maybe they are already past too many miles before COVID-19, maybe. So, and generally speaking, what we have learned in our PMO, Tabuk Pharmaceuticals, once COVID-19 occurred, two key lessons. First one, PMO and the whole organization need to be much flexible. Just stick to the protocols. We are a pharmaceutical, and pharmaceuticals full of protocols, full of GMP processes, full of constraints and limitations. But even though, if we could find even a very small part internally, we could modify it, we need to consider. So the lesson learned, first one from COVID-19, flexibility is a must. That's out of question. In order to keep tracking with the whole world, this very quick transformation, you need to be flexible. Sticking to the guidelines, sticking to the old process will turn you down. So this is one. Second one, risk management is a discipline actually more than a processes or forms to be filled. And risk management should be taken much more seriously from senior management and from the whole organization, because at the end of the day, risk management, not only PMO responsibility, risk management is everyone's responsibility. So this is the two key lessons I have learned through the pandemic regarding the project management in PMOs. And I believe our 3 years plan for our PMO definitely will consider these 2 points.
Yeah, very good. So let me.
Would you like to add, Americo, on this?
Yeah, let me share my ideas with you. I think that in the organizational environment, right, change is something that happens all the time. Actually, the difference from what we are living now is the velocity, the speed of this change. Usually, big changes, they happen over time, right? But now something happened in our lives, and many things have changed very fast, right? And that is the most important challenge, because we don't have a lot of time to learn, right? And react. Actually, most of the time we have to react without without a lot of information, exactly. We have just to react. And it's valid not only for companies, but for us in our personal lives, right? So we are adapting. That's the point. I believe that the most important consequence of any change, especially one huge change like that, is the fact that PMOs must be concerned about two aspects. The first one is what you are doing as a PMO, and the second one is how you are doing, uh, your work. What and how. In terms of how we're doing what you have to do as a PMO, I think that many trends will be accelerated. For example, digitalization, remote work. What else? We have a trend of providing more autonomy to the people, and so they can be more autonomous in their own work, because now they are working from home, for example. So there are many trends that we have been observing the last years that they have been accelerated right now because of this big change. All of these aspects, they are just different or improved ways to do something, right? So digitalization and a different type of work from the office at your home. So all of these are different ways to do what you are doing. So you can do it better, you can do it with more productivity and so on. And now the COVID opened a very important door for companies to try, right? Because before that they said, no, I don't know, maybe let's wait a little more, let's get more experience, blah blah blah. But now, no, go ahead, you have to try it now, right? There's no time, we have to adapt, we have to change right now. So this is one point. The second point, that in my point of view, maybe it's the most important point for those PMOs that want to survive, right, this big change, is what you are doing. Because maybe before the COVID, you were doing a great job at your PMO. You were delivering expectations, benefits, the value that was expected by your company, by your stakeholders. But after this change, there is nothing that really guarantee that you are still in the right path. And why? Because things that were important behind the COVID, maybe they will not be so important from now on for the stakeholders, for the company. For example, maybe before the COVID, you were doing a great job with portfolio management, right? You were preparing the portfolio for the next 10 years. It was awesome. People loved it. But now, after the COVID, the company is in the middle of a big financial crisis, and they are just trying to survive by the end of the year, right? So the focus is the focus now is on operational stuff like cost control, time control, because they are trying to deliver what they have to deliver, and in this way maybe get some air to survive till 2021. So the point is, how much aware you are about this change, because things that you are doing well in the past, maybe from now on they will not be well recognized anymore. Let's suppose that you go to your president's office and say, hey, that's the portfolio for the next 10 years. Look, it's really nice. He will look at your report and say, come on, are you crazy? In 10 years, we will be dead, right? Actually, we have to survive by the end of the year. And you say, no, but the PMO must work with the portfolio and blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry, you have to work with those things that will be valued by who is paying the bill. That's the point. right? Of course, I'm not saying that you have to give up everything. No, of course not. But I'm saying that you have to understand what people expect from you, because you are not doing a PMO for you, for yourself. You are doing a PMO for someone, for your company, for your stakeholders, your executives. So if you can't see what they expect from you, and these expectations can change, especially in moments like that, you have a big risk. Maybe you are doing very well something that was not supposed to be done, because it doesn't deliver the expectations, the value that your stakeholders really want. So that's why I believe, just to close it, that's why I believe that we have to balance. We have to do very well what we are doing: digitalization, remote work, and many other nice and trendy things that we are discussing right now. But alignment is something absolutely essential. If you are not aligned with what people really expect, even if you are using the best technology, the best process, the best people, nobody will feel the value in what you are delivering. And that's one of the most important reasons for failure in PMOs. That's what I believe. I think that we need a balance between these two aspects. Does it make sense for you, Dr.
No,
Ghaffar?
I agree with both of you. Reason being, certainly this pre and post COVID, or during the COVID, is still we are in the COVID season. I believe it will go few months from today as well. So during that period, certainly we have to go back to the drawing board again. Look strategic from the strategic perspective, from at the PMO level, what need to be addressed from external internal environment we are facing nowadays, and address back our PMO and introduce intervention. As Americo said rightly, that certainly post pre-COVID, maybe we were doing extraordinary things. Now during COVID, we bit slow down. Some of the companies has locked down, so their portfolio, their intervention they have planned in the past may not be working as we move forward. So certainly have to look back and do certain strategic analysis at the corporate level, in the PMO, and see whether the plans which have been prescribed pre-COVID is still exist, are workable, are able to deliver the same values which we have planned earlier on. Certainly intervention is needed.
Yeah, I feel that, of course, being strategic is something very cool for everyone, right? Everyone wants to be strategic. But sometimes it's possible that it's not exactly what you have to focus on. You know what I'm saying? And
100%.
there is nothing wrong with that. It's just a fact, right? And so that's something interesting. And there is a question that I would like to make for both of you. It's a little more related to the individual, right? My question is, we know that a project manager and a PMO leader, they are different. They are different types of
characters. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So my question is, what is this difference? So, in other words, what does a PMO leader a good professional? What makes an outstanding PMO leader? That's my question. You can start.
Very tough one. Very, very tough one.
Go ahead, Tyre. I'll answer later after you. Go ahead if you want.
No worries, doctor. Yeah, no worries. I never thought of the details of this point. However, I totally agree that if you are a perfect project manager, that doesn't mean necessarily that you are the perfect PMO leader. Okay, maybe you are a good PMO leader, but it's not a must to be a perfect project manager as well, because as you have mentioned, these two different characteristics. What I believe is, if you want to deliver an outstanding results, leadership is a must. Understanding the project management concepts value is a must. Have a vision for the PMO is a must. Understanding the business need and the organization business is a must. So I believe if you want to deliver extraordinary results as a PMO leader, you need to be more with business and management rather than being deeply inside project management. It is a must for sure, project management, but what I'm saying is you need to understand the other perspectives. You need to wear their shoe. And you should be familiar with the concepts of the business, financials, supply chain, logistics, strategy, all these aspects in order to create your PMO vision, communicate it to the team, build your plan, and start delivering a value which fulfill the business need more than just developing forms for project management and following strictly what the best practices templates are.
Yeah, very good, very good.
I tend to agree partially. Reason being, I grew as a project manager initially back in, I graduated back in 85. I started my profession in a construction industry in the airport and so on and so forth. So make it short, I grew as a project manager. But at that time, when I was doing a airport project, KLI International Airport project, at that time the PMO concept was not so much flourished and not grown. But we have established kind of brick and mortar model of the PMO over there because it's over 100 of our contracts are there in that project, multi-billion dollar project it was. So from that grooming of project management, when I learned certain courses, I did my MBA on business and management and financial skills. Certainly, it helps me complement my role in the PMO. So I'm very feel comfortable when I shift from project management, traditional or conventional project management, whose role is to deliver the output of that project, when coming to the setting up of the certain PMO or strategies and standardization of process protocols. So it helps me because I understand the project at the field. So I will say a project manager complement of the business knowledge. Certainly in the absence of business knowledge, financial background, resource management, it will not help in making a good leader in the PMO. And what we have thus far I have done, I am now introducing more automation into the PMO,
Yeah.
and making it more lean, borrowing some concept because construction industry has no theories. It borrowed from manufacturing and all other sectors, IT and all those. So I did my doctorate from the main perspective of the project and lean construction. So I borrowed the concept of the lean into my project management. So now when we are establishing PMO through the automation, you can see a different model altogether. We don't see a lot of forms and processes and procedures need to be followed so that people will not see it as administrative house or administrative center. Rather, it is adding totally value and
Yeah.
emphasis on more automation, which I have asked with you two guys, and you tend to agree that automation is a must, especially in construction sector, whereby CEOs are sitting remotely in the head office and the project happening globally in different part of the world. So certainly there should be certain tools which he can see and look into the level of the portfolio, roll it out, what is happening on the specific project or overall portfolio or the program.
Yes, yes.
Totally.
It's amazing.
Totally.
I totally agree with you. There is one more point that maybe could complement these ideas. Is that I believe that a people leader must understand his role of a service provider. So he or she is there to serve. Right? So your commitment is not with the technique. Your commitment is with the expectations, the results. The techniques they exist just to support you, and you don't need to choose one forever. You know what I'm saying? Actually, you can use all of them. Today I'm agile, tomorrow I'm waterfall, and next week I'm using this approach, maybe another one. So every technique exists just to support us. We don't need to to follow them religiously. Actually not. We can use all of them. We can be a little more heterodox, right? But if we understand our role of serving, right, and understand that we are here, we exist just because someone is valuing what we are doing. If we break this connection, right, our PMO will be shut down sooner or later. So this characteristic, I believe that it's something very important for a PMO leader. If you are too much technical and you think that technique is everything in your life, probably you will have some difficulties, I believe.
No, you are right. You brought a very nice point. Reason being, every technique, whether it's lean, agile, or waterfall, has a certain aspect or characteristic which add value if you bring it into the PMO at different stages of the PMO life cycle. I totally agree. Certainly.
It's true.
Six Sigma and all those sort of things are a very good tools and techniques used to be in the PMO. I agree. Totally agree.
Yes. So I think we are almost at the end of our session. Dr. Ghaffar, would like to ask your last question for Tahir?
Yeah, that is a very good coming just to my mind. And Tahir, and you touch base on a little bit on happiness of the stakeholder. Whenever any organization is thinking their project or program are not performing well, so they are thinking, why not bring certain PMO leads and setting up, or somebody within the company internally has groomed himself or herself as a role into the PMO. So how we can, in my opinion, buy this business partnership from other stakeholder within the company, or bring those stakeholders like director of engineering, director of contract, finance, and all those, that they either know wise or have a limited knowledge on the project or program management or project management office, how to bring them on board so that they support in the initial setting up, because a lot of I don't want to say this, a lot of hurdles comes internally from internal stakeholder, that is the extra cost to the organization.
The biggest one from the inside.
So what is the excellent technique to bring them on board? Hey guys, come, this is the PMO or project management standardization will help us.
Very, very insightful question, Doctor. And actually, I will talk about my own experience once we need to establish the PMO back in 2018. It's typically what you have mentioned, Doctor. Typically, you will face too much resistance from inside, which is, I believe, this is normal. But at the first, we have two main issues. I tried to turn it into opportunities. First, the challenge was very, very, very low maturity we has in our organization. Once they announced to establish the PMO, some departments used to call us BOM instead of PMO, and you can imagine what maturity level we are talking about. So PMO as a concept was totally something new in our organization, so we had a very low maturity level. Second issue we has, which too much resistant, as you have mentioned, Doctor, for too many reasons. It's not our topic anyway. So what I have done at the early beginning, all our PMO team members were hired newly to the organization. They weren't existing employees in another departments. So I hired all the team members externally. So once I start to interviewing the team members, I had a couple of skill set I'm looking for in order to establish a team, so all of us as a team, we can reach the vision we had in mind at that moment of time. So I was looking about some crucial and unique skills. The team will complement each other. So once the team is hired and they start absorbing and understanding the processes, that the culture, the organization, their job description, and the details, I started to use the challenges we have to increase the buy-in from other stakeholders and to involve them in our project management practices and in our PMO establishing. So what I have done is I start to look for real issues exist on the ground, which is a pain for another department which are deeply involved in our project management practices or our PMO practices. And I start to look for a solution for them, usually through the innovative or automation business intelligence tools, using my team skills to solve this. It was been sold out as, this is to relieve you from your pain. This is your automation system. It will do your job for you. And at the same time, it will help us to have more monitoring, following up on our project progress, more control on the records, more analysis. Now I have too many dashboards. Any trend I need to analyze, I can just have it in a couple of minutes, because all the data now from too many departments are connected into one warehouse in a very organized way. So if you need to analyze any trend, it's a piece of cake now. So one step further to my vision to the PMO and to establish a 1 mega data warehouse, which could be analyzed later on. And in order to gain the buy-in, I started developing innovative solutions in cooperation with my team in order to solve their pain, and they will be much more involved with us after that. And also, we can control our projects much more and avoiding much more risks. And I remember that maybe more than the half of our innovative solutions we have in the PMO becomes or generated because the external stakeholders requested rather than we suggested. We have suggested the first couple of innovative solutions, but after that, most of them are requested by their stakeholders, by the VPs, CEO, and so on. And this was a very big step forward, and it helped us a lot to has a high buy-in to increase the maturity of the PMO. And we always used to explain our internal and external functions into PMO once we need to implement such an innovative solution.
Excellent. You have used problem-solving skills inside the PMO so that they will see their problems has been solved, and then they start buying the important PMO in your organization.
Yeah, we focused on what's there for you, not for me, and it helped us a lot, alhamdulillah.
Yep. Two-way communication. Perfect. Americo, you would like to add something?
Very good. No. Actually, I fully agree. That's exactly what I believe too. Very good.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'm your student, Americo, so I'm following your
method. Bringing is on project management, program management, and project management offices, having certain survey in the company, introduction of certain seminars so that they are aware, because some of us are not aware, so it's not fair that certain resistance will be there if they are not knowledgeable or exposed to that thing. But if you talk from a finance director on numbers or finance or ledgers or cash flows, he or she knew it. But if you talk with the same guy on project management, he will run away or she will run away what he is talking. So exposure to them through workshops, training, surveys at different level, inside and outside the company, help them buying in the project management as a profession, and project management office setting up into the organization, into the project. Certainly in Saudi Arabia, I will say it's a trend now that every mega big project are setting up their some for sort of a project management offices and standardized project management techniques in Saudi Arabia, certain in Malaysia, Singapore, West America know better than me.
Sure. So, unfortunately, everything that it's really good have an end, right? So we have to close our conversation. We could stay here, all day long.
Yep.
It will be really nice, but everything has an end. And so I'd like to thank you, Dr. Ghaffar. Thank you very much for your great participation today. It's an honor for us to count on you. And Taher, of course, congrats, because your achievement is really important. You are doing a great job in Jordan. It's something that I believe that it's very important, not only for you and your company, but for your local community, because it's very important that we have good examples to follow, right? So you are one of them. Your company is one of them. So it's something really significant for the community, the global community, and also especially for the Jordanian community. So congrats for all your efforts. You are also participating in the world category as with your PMO, right? So you are in two categories: the world category for PMOs and the professional category for PMO leaders. And it's a great achievement. Congrats.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I wish you success. For me, it was an amazing conversation, really nice. I enjoyed the time, and I hope you too. So
thank you very much, Americo.
Thank you very much.
So nice of you. Invite. Enjoy it.